The little girl in the lavender dress stood perfectly still as 30 adults laughed at her, and the one man who could have defended her simply watched. Welcome back, friends. If you're new here, you found a place where real human moments remind us what actually matters. I'm so glad you stopped by the kindness chapters. Hit that subscribe button and stay a while, because this story is one you won't forget easily. Now, let's get back to that little girl. Her name was Sofia, and she was 3 years old. Her mother, Carmen, had worked as a housekeeper for the Aldridge estate for 6 years. She was quiet, efficient, and invisible in the way that wealthy households preferred their staff to be. She polished marble floors that gleamed like mirrors, arranged white lilies in crystal vases, and pressed linen tablecloths so perfectly they looked like they had never been touched by human hands. Carmen had raised Sofia alone since her husband passed. She had no family nearby, no babysitter she could afford on short notice, and when the estate's grand engagement party was suddenly moved up by a week, she had no choice but to bring her daughter along. She tucked Sofia into a corner of the staff quarters and told her to stay put. But Sofia was 3. Staying put was not something Sofia did. The party was breathtaking. 200 guests filled the Aldridge ballroom, a room of gold leaf ceilings, cascading chandeliers, and marble floors imported from Florence. The women wore gowns. The men wore tailored suits. Champagne moved through the crowd on silver trays like a slow golden river. And right in the middle of it all, in her little lavender dress with the puffed sleeves and the purple bow in her hair, wandered Sofia. She had found her way out of the staff corridor and into the ballroom, drawn by the music and the light. Her eyes were wide with wonder. She touched the edge of a tablecloth gently, looked up at the chandeliers with her mouth open, and then noticed the crowd noticing her. That's when Vanessa Aldridge saw her. Vanessa was the billionaire's fiancée, and she was the kind of beautiful that made people nervous. She had arrived in the family 3 months ago, fast and decisive as a weather event. Everyone smiled at her. Almost no one liked her. "Oh my God," Vanessa said, loudly enough for the circle of friends around her to hear. She pointed directly at Sofia. "Look at her cheap clothes." The laughter started small, then spread. "Where did she even come from?" one of Vanessa's friends asked, champagne glass tilting toward the little girl like an accusation. "Probably one of the maids brought her," Vanessa said, her voice curling with amusement. "Can you imagine? Bringing your child to an engagement party in a dress from a discount bin?" Sofia didn't understand all the words. But she understood the pointing. She understood the laughter. Her small face, which had been bright with wonder just moments before, slowly crumpled. She looked down at her dress. She touched the fabric of it, the dress that Carmen had ironed that morning, that she had saved 3 weeks to buy, that Sofia had called her princess dress because it made her feel beautiful. And across the ballroom, Carmen appeared in the doorway. She had heard the laughter. She had seen the pointing. She crossed the room quickly, her face white, her hands trembling as she reached for her daughter. "I'm so sorry," she said to no one and everyone. "I'm so sorry," she wandered out, "I'll take her back." "Please do," Vanessa said flatly. If you're enjoying this story, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the kindness chapters. We exist for moments exactly like this one. What happened next, no one predicted. Ethan Aldridge had been standing 15 feet away. He was the billionaire whose name was on the estate, whose money funded the party, whose ring sat on Vanessa's finger. He was 41, quietly powerful, and people generally assumed he agreed with whatever Vanessa said because he never seemed to disagree. That assumption ended tonight. Ethan walked across the ballroom. Not quickly, deliberately. Every step landed with intention. The crowd parted. He stopped in front of Carmen and Sofia, and he knelt down. He actually knelt down, in his white suit, on the marble floor, until he was eye level with a 3-year-old girl. "Hey," he said softly. "What's your name?" Sofia looked at him with wet eyes. "Sofia." Sofia, he repeated. I love your dress. That color is my favorite color in the whole world. Did you know that? She shook her head slowly. It's true, he said. Lavender. My mom used to grow it in her garden. He smiled at her, and it was a real smile, the kind that reached all the way up. You look like a princess. Sofia's lips stopped trembling. Then Ethan stood up, turned around, and faced the room. 200 people held their breath. Carmen has worked in this house for 6 years, he said. His voice was calm and total, the way a closed door is total. She has taken better care of this family than most people in this room ever could. Her daughter is a guest tonight. A welcome guest. He paused. Anyone who disagrees with that is free to leave. No one left. No one spoke. Vanessa's expression shifted through several emotions in quick succession before landing on something that looked like the beginning of understanding, or the end of a relationship. Perhaps both. Ethan turned back to Carmen. Please stay, he said quietly. Both of you. Enjoy the evening. Then he looked at Sofia one more time, offered his hand, and said, Would you like to see the dessert table? I heard they have chocolate fountain. Sofia grabbed his hand. The ballroom exhaled.